Sahana vavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome all of you for this online satsang of the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. You know, on May 26th, this month, we have Buddha Purnima. So this is a very special day. It's called Thrice Blessed Day because this is the day Lord Buddha was born in Lumbini, and this is the day he got enlightenment in Bodh Gaya. And this is the day he attained Parinirvana in Kushinagar. So that is why it is called Thrice Blessed Day. So we are going to have online celebrations, global celebrations on that day. Please make a note, we'll have 2 sessions, time slots. One is 5 a.m. our PDT. So here people who wake up early, you can join that program early in the morning. But that is convenient for many countries in Europe and others. And then 2 p.m. on the same day, which probably is convenient for many of us and others also in Latin America and Far East. So please join. This is beautiful combined effort by many countries like Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Nepal. So many countries got together, put these beautiful programs. I think you will enjoy it. So they are working hard on this, and a lot of segments are coming out good. Please make a note in your calendar. And this could be enjoyed even for people who are not followers of our Swami. So any Buddhist or anybody, because it's a beautiful program which comes about the Buddha's life, teachings, and practical lessons we can learn. So in preparation for this Buddha Purnima, always it is nice to have a little bit background about Lord Buddha, his life, and his teachings. So we already shared with you this Buddha Purnima study guide, so which you can download as a PDF, or you can see it online. So please look at it. It's very nicely done by the Spiritual Study Committee group. So we will start that today and this week, next week. So we'll see how much we go and then we'll discuss. Meanwhile, you can study it at home. So we will start that Buddha Purnima study guide today. So starting with Buddha's life. Anupam, please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. Sai Ram, brothers and sisters. We are starting the Lord Buddha, his life and teaching study guide, top of page 3. Buddha's life. Although all avatars, divine advents, have been preaching only good things, men today are content to observe their birthdays without following their precepts. Buddha did not attach any significant importance to yagnas and yagas and other religious rituals. The reason is he felt that it was more important to ensure that the 5 sense organs were pure to begin with. Buddha sought to find out why the mind gets disturbed. 15th May 1997. King Suddhodana and his wife Mayadevi performed many spiritual austerities such as japa, soft repetition of the name, tapas, austerities, vratas, vows, and yagnas, rituals, for years together with an aspiration to have a son. They also consulted many astrologers. Suddhodana had no peace of mind because the worry of not having an heir to the throne haunted him day and night. At last, their prayers were answered when Mayadevi gave birth to a son at Lumbini. Unfortunately, Mayadevi died soon after giving birth to her son, who was named Siddhartha. Gautami, the second wife of Suddhodana, brought up the child with loving care like her own son. That is why he was also called Gautama. The astrologers predicted that Siddhartha would not rule the kingdom. He would leave the kingdom and become a renunciant. The prediction of astrologers was always ringing in Suddhodana's ears and caused him anxiety as he watched his son grow. He took all precautions to see that his son did not step out of the palace and get into the company of others, lest he should be influenced by them. Thus, he protected his son from the influence of others for 20 long years. 13th May 2006. One day, the parents of a girl came to Suddhodana and expressed their wish to give their daughter in marriage to his son Siddhartha. The name of the girl was Yashodhara. Suddhodana accepted their proposal and performed the marriage of Siddhartha with Yashodhara. Owing to their loving insistence, Siddhartha continued to stay with his parents in the palace even after the marriage. 1 year after the marriage, he begot a son who was named Rahul. Both the husband and wife spent their time happily with their son. In spite of all the comforts of the palace and happy married life, Gautama's mind became restless when he saw people afflicted with old age, disease, and death after he ventured out of the palace one day. One night, there was a sudden transformation in his mind. While his wife was fast asleep, he got up at midnight, caressed his son, and left for the forest. He had to undergo numerous hardships and difficulties in the forest, but he faced all ordeals with forbearance and determination. His parents were immersed in sorrow, unable to bear the pangs of separation from their son. Though Siddhartha was also undergoing a lot of anguish, he marched on his path of attaining self-realization. During the course of his journey, he met a holy man. The holy man told him that the cause of his anguish was actually within him, and it was his anguish that was coming in the way of his self-realization. So saying, he gave him a talisman for protection and asked him to wear it around his neck. Parenthesis. At this point of time, Bhagavan materialized that talisman and showed it to the congregation amidst a thunderous applause. This was the talisman given by the sage to Siddhartha. When Siddhartha put it around his neck, all his anguish disappeared instantaneously. Till the last moment of his earthly sojourn, Buddha had the talisman around his neck. When he shed his mortal coil, the talisman disappeared. Siddhartha started doing intense penance, which went on for a long time. He kept questioning himself, quote, "Who am I? Am I the body? Am I the mind? Am I the buddhi, intellect? Am I the chitta, mind stuff?" Unquote. He came to the conclusion that he was none of these. Ultimately, he experienced the truth, quote, "I am I," unquote. 13th May 2006. The name given to Buddha at the time of birth was Sarvartha Siddha. Suddhodana got his son married to Yashodhara, daughter of his brother-in-law, Suddha Buddha. He was apprehensive that his son may become a recluse and turn away from the world if he was left to himself. But Buddha did not feel that a married life was the proper thing for him. Buddha felt that man was bound by various attachments in worldly life. Friends and relations were the cause of this bondage. Various human relationships were the cause of sorrow in the world. So he declared, Sarvam Dukkham Dukkham, all is sorrow. He also declared, Sarvam Shanikam Shanikam, everything is momentary. Sarvam Nashyam Nashyam, everything is perishable. Buddha felt that nothing was truly lasting. Parents were subjecting their children to various kinds of bonds and making their lives miserable. As soon as the children come of age, the parents are keen to get them married. They do not know what kind of happiness he can get from married life. What happiness have they derived from their own married life, physically, mentally, or otherwise? No person, however intelligent, thinks about this matter. Even eminent scholars do not care to examine whether it is worthwhile pursuing sensuous pleasures instead of seeking what is beyond the senses. Buddha felt intensely unhappy that his parents and others combined to commit him to the bondage of married life. One day at midnight, Buddha left the palace, giving up his wife and young son Rahul. He abandoned everything out of the conviction, quote, there is no mother or father, no kinsman or friend, no home or wealth. Awaken yourself, unquote. He resolved to find out something which transcends all worldly relationships and pleasures. Buddha asked himself, quote, what is this life? Birth is misery, old age is misery, wife is a cause of sorrow. There is misery at the end of life. Therefore be alert and awake, unquote. Happiness is not to be found in any one of the things of the world. Everything is fleeting. Man is wasting his life in the pursuit of petty, ephemeral pleasures. Nirvana is the only truth. It is the sense of oneness with all life. To turn the mind towards that which is permanent is nirvana. Before he attained nirvana, Buddha summoned his stepbrother, Ananda Buddha. Buddha's mother, Mayadevi, passed away on the 7th day after his birth. Suttadhana's second wife, Gautami, brought up the child. Because he was brought up by Gautami, he was named Gautama Buddha. At the age of 28, he gave up everything and turned a renunciate. What is the significance of this step? Buddha declared, Sangham Saranam Gacchami, hands in society, head in the forest. He renounced everything to think about promoting the welfare of society. He declared, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami. What is this dharma? Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. Dharma means causing no harm to anyone. 15th May 1997. Should we stop here now?
Yeah.
Turn it over to you for comments.
So I think it is very obvious Buddha's life. It is like a story. So I don't think we need a big commentary. But just I will touch the highlights. So he was born which is in the present day Nepal, in the place called Lumbini. I was fortunate to visit that place because this is one of the holy sites for the Buddhists. One is Lumbini, another is Sarnath, another is Bodhagaya. So here he was born for Suddhodana and Maya Devi. And she died and then he was brought up by Gautami. But here one thing we need to learn is destiny. What is destined to happen will happen whatever you do. So his father was trying to make sure he doesn't become a renunciant, recluse, or a monk. But the destiny was he was supposed to become. That is what the astrologer said. So he tried to protect him with all the comfort so that he's not exposed to any suffering. But if he just grew up like a king, he would have been like any other king. But because he renounced, what happened? He became the Lord Buddha, who is adored and worshipped by many millions of people around the world, and whose life is transformed by his teachings, by following his teachings. So that is one, the power of destiny. Second thing is, when he went out, he saw these three sides we talk about: the old man, person who was sick, and person who was being taken to the mortuary or the cremation ground, a dead person. These three things opened his eyes. And then he sees a monk who was very happy in bliss because he was in tune with the highest. So then he developed discrimination. This whole looks like unreal and pain, and this looks like source of happiness. So first thing is like last week we talked about Sutravahini. In spiritual progress, first is Viveka, discrimination, which is permanent, which is real, which is impermanent, which is unreal. We need to discriminate. He says, yeah, this body, this is impermanent, this age, this sickness. So the permanent is that absolute happiness. So first he got that Viveka, discrimination. Then next thing we talked about, Sutravahini also, Swami said, is Vairagya. You know, you discriminate that is unreal, impermanent, but a lot of us know, but you should be able to give up that unreal. So right away, even though he was in the middle of luxury, he had a beautiful wife, son, and the kingdom, and all the comforts, he right away made a decision. I will give it up for the higher cause. Then he goes in search. That is why Swami beautifully, this is in Bhagavad Gita also, chapter 13, Kshetra, Kshetrajna Vibhagam. If you want to look at it, qualities of a jnani. How do you become? We say, I want Brahma Jnana, Brahma Vidya. So first is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Doshanu Darshanam. You should always discriminate. Hey, this body is Janma, we are born. Mrityu, we are going to die. And Jara, we are going to become old. So this is the part of life. So you need to always discriminate. So that means you need to focus on God. And then second thing automatically becomes, that is also a qualities of a jnani in this 13th chapter. Arjuna asks and Lord Krishna says, a jnani should have these qualities. First, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, the sickness. First is birth, death, old age, and sickness. Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshanam. Suffering from that, you need to think about it. Hey, this is what it is. Then, because of that, what will happen next? This is also in the same qualities of Vijnani. Asakti, Anabhishwanga, Putra, Dara, Grihadishu. That's why we should check whether we have that. Then you will get detachment from what? Putra, Dara, Grihadishu. Putra means children. They love the children, but don't get attached to them. First quality, detachment from the children. Don't get love them with detachment. And Janma, Asaktir, Anabhis, Putra, Dara, even spouse, wife for the husband, husband for the wife. Here, Dara means wife. Don't get too much attached. Love that without attachment. And Gruha, that means house, properties, and all that. So, this is the qualities of Vijnani, detachment from children, the wife or the husband, and the house and properties. If you still have that, you will never attain jnana in this life. That is what Lord Krishna clearly says. This is the first quality. First thing, hey, this is all the part. We get old, we get sick, we get disease, we get die. So we need to get detached and get attached to God, the highest, because that is permanent, that gives us bliss. So that is what he learned. That is why those two slokas Swami said in English, it is translated not well. He says, Mata nasti, Pita nasti, nasti bandhur sahodaraha. Artham nasti, griham nasti, tasmad jagrata jagrata. He says, is in scriptures, be vigilant. Mother is nothing, father is nothing, this property, everything, this house, everything is nothing. So you need to be vigilant. The highest, only Brahman exists. That's why he says, Janma dukkham, jara dukkham, jaya dukkham, punah punaha. Samsara sagaram dukkham, tasmad jagrata jagrata. These two are from scriptures. The rishis, they are cautioning us, be careful. Is it birth, the old age, sickness. So we need to go on thinking, because we forget, we think we are permanent. We see people around us dying and seeing old, but we think permanent. So constantly reflect on that. Really, we are permanent in the sense as Sachidananda, not as body, mind, intellect. So we need to focus on that existence, knowledge, and bliss. And then Swami talked about teaching Dharmam, Sharanam, Gacchami, Buddham. We'll come to that in this study guide at the end. We have got, this is called Three Ratna, three jewels. In Buddhism, there are three jewels, Three Ratna Sharanam they call. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam. So we are going to dive deep into that later on. But this is the thing you need to remember in Buddha's life, how he used destiny overrides everything, how you need to have discrimination and the detachment to attain the goal of nirvana. And that can be done, as Swami said, by self-inquiry. Who am I? Who am I? And then you finally realize, I am I. So this is the summary of the highlights of the points. Now you can go to Buddha's teachings, the next chapter.
Next, Buddha's teachings. The teachings of Buddha are lofty, sublime, and sacred. Buddha asserted this with great emphasis and force. Buddha also advised that one's looks must be sacred. He said sacred vision is a must for leading a pure life. You should cultivate Samyak Drishti, the habit of looking only at good things, and Samyak Shravanam, the habit of listening only to good things. For Buddha, everything had to be pure and sacred. If you throw a pebble into a well, ripples are created, and these travel up to the edge of the well. In the same way, if you throw a pebble called good thought into the well called the heart, the ripples generated travel throughout the body. When the ripple reaches the eye, it stimulates pure vision. When the ripple reaches the ear, it tunes the latter to sacred sounds. When the ripple reaches the hands, it swings them into good action. In this manner, when the ripples spread across the entire body, there is a symphony of sacred activity all around. Thus, good and noble thoughts are fundamental to sacred activity. 21st May 2000. When one's thoughts are centered on God, one's feelings, speech, and actions get sanctified. Samyak Bhavam, Samyak Shravanam, and Samyak Kriya. This leads to the purity of the inner sense organs. Purity in thought, word, and deed is the requisite for experiencing the divine. This triple purity is considered the essence of humanness. Buddha relied entirely on his own inner quest to experience his reality because he found that scriptural texts and preceptors were of no use. 11th May 1998. Samyak Darshanam. Buddha declared that the first requisite is Samyak Darshanam, having the right vision. The implication of this statement is that, having been bestowed with the great gift of eyes, man should use them for seeing sacred objects and holy beings. But on the contrary, by using his eyes to look at unsacred objects and evil persons, man fills himself with bad thoughts and becomes a prey to evil tendencies. What one sees influences the feelings in the heart. The state of the heart determines the nature of one's thoughts. The thoughts influence one's life. Hence, to lead a good life, the first requisite is pure vision. Man has to cultivate sacred outlook. As a result of looking at cruel, ugly, and wicked scenes, man leads an animal existence. The very first inquiry one should make is to ascertain what is pure, edifying, and godly that he should see. Whatever he sees leaves its imprint on man. Few realize the effects of this. Human life today is racked by anxiety, misery, unrest, and troubles of various kinds. The root cause of all this is that man is witnessing what is repulsive, wicked, and demeaning. For transforming one's life, the first requisite is a proper vision. The eye, netra, is comparable to a spiritual text, shastra, and one's vision, drishti, determines one's view of the cosmos, srishti. Hence, to acquire the highest knowledge, one has to purify the vision. This means one should avoid seeing what is obnoxious. One should strive to see only that which is sacred and pure. What man sees is like seeds sown in the heart. Evil sins give rise to evil thoughts. Good sins evoke good thoughts. When sacred sins are implanted in the heart, there will be no room for bad feelings or thoughts to grow in the heart. This was the first lesson Buddha taught. Buddha wandered all over the country in search of spiritual peace and liberation. After many years of inquiry, he came to the conclusion that the secret of spiritual wisdom was not to be got from scholars or by study. He realized that spiritual understanding could only come from mastery of the senses. 5th February 1998. Buddha realized that self-realization cannot be attained through penance or prayers or austerities. At the outset, Buddha emphasized the importance of developing good vision, samyak drishti. Good vision leads to good thoughts, good speech, and good action. 11th May 1998. Stop here, Dr.
Yeah, I think each theme we'll take, like first we are focusing on Samyak Drishti. Actually, as a background with this, so as we said, he got the Viveka, this is all impermanent. Then he got Vairagya, he got detached, renounced the kingdom, the family, and all the comforts, and went in search of the truth. Like anybody else, first he met all the great masters and learned the scriptures and did a lot of tapas. So in that process, he really observed a lot of austerities. So fasted himself, not eating, going through these various subject to weather changes, to the cold, heat. So finally, he was so weak and famished, but he didn't realize the truth. Then this wonderful devotee Sujata gives him the nice pious pudding, and he eats and gets energy, and then he contemplates on path of inquiry. Who am I? Then he realizes, and that is the time he says middle path. Don't go to extremes. Don't eat too much. Don't eat too little. Don't sleep too much. Don't eat too little. So everything, don't work too much. Don't work too little. So everything, even recreation, everything is the middle path. That is the secret. And here, the first thing is the drishti. That is what Swami says. This is samyak drishti. So Swami says there is no, people say, Swami, world is like that. There is no srushti lopam, your drishti lopam. You wear glasses of love, everything will look you love. You wear glasses of hatred, everything will look bad. So we need to go on transforming our vision with that of love. That is why when Gopikas saw, everything they saw as Lord Krishna. You say a tree, the bush, oh, this reminds me of the hair of our Lord Krishna. A creeper, oh, we are just with Lord Krishna hugging. And the waters, everything reminds them of Lord Krishna, like that, because they saturate everything with the divine love. That is what he says, Swami says, is very important for that. But the basis for that is thought, very, very important. Swami gave the beautiful example. So there is a well, our heart is compared to a well, and you throw a little stone, pebble, that is the thought. So what happens? You throw in water, there is a ripple. So this ripple can go to different portions of the well, right? Similarly, this ripple, which is from the heart, goes to the eyes, then you will see all good things. It goes to the ears, go hear all good things. Goes to the mouth, it say all good things. And goes to the hands, feet, so you do good things with the hands, go to good places. So main thing is, the basic thing is good thoughts. That is the most important. That is why mano molam idam jagat. Root of everything is the mind. So we always need to do, am I thinking the good thoughts? Is it taking towards God? That is very important nowadays, because of so many media. Now everybody is addicted in the morning, probably like Suprabhatam, look at WhatsApp, these messages. Just take away your mind, because they are bombarded with so many things. So this is all noise. So we should after a while use discrimination. Is it making me closer to God? That's the one, because we are all spiritual seekers. What is the purpose? To realize God. That is why Sri Ramakrishna said, a spiritual seeker should know only two things. Who am I? Who is God? And what is our relation? How to increase the relation? Whether it is WhatsApp message, reading something, Is it really making me in tune with God? Anything people send so many things, it disturbs your mind. That means it is not good. Very simple. Anything which causes agitation, makes us lose peace, that is not good. So you need to discriminate. People that, oh, I get this message. That means your problem. So you keep your door, Swami said beautifully, then you have door, this is the mind door, open, all stray dogs, stray cats, everything come. That is your fault because you left the door open to so all these negative things come. Whereas you close your door and let only the invited guests, holy people, holy. Similarly, you invite only holy thoughts, holy sights, because all these have impressions. Even in the, I have some friends, they're good people, but they like to watch this something fighting. They call in a Ip movie, some guy, Ip Man or something. So they like enjoyment. But this girl has, as Swami said, subconscious impressions. Even movies, videos, which shows any violent or negative thing, without a knowledge, it will have impressions. So that will take away from God. So we should everything analyze, whether what we see, what we think, what we hear is taking us towards God. So that is very, very important. Samyak drishti, for that we need to be watch out. Okay, you can continue. So just one more section, Samyak Vachanam.
Next one is Samyak Vachanam. From developing sacred vision, man should proceed to Samyak Vachanam, sacred speech. Buddha declared that only sacred thoughts could lead to sacred speech. Buddha declared that the tongue should not be used recklessly to utter whatsoever one thinks. The tongue has been given to speak the truth, to expatiate on what is sacred and pure. The tongue has not been given to man to pamper the palate with delicious sweets. It is not given for talking as one likes. It is not to be used for causing displeasure to others, nor is it to be used for indulging in falsehood. The tongue has been given to man to speak the truth, to be sweet to others, to praise the divine, and enjoy the bliss derived from such sacred speech. There are people who devote their entire time to reading all kinds of books without trying to put into practice what they learn from such reading. What is the use of such reading? Buddha spoke out against scholarship unrelated to the good life. He carried out a great deal of study and met many great men. He listened to many discourses. He realized that true knowledge could only be got by these means, could not be got by this means. He realized that a pure, unsullied consciousness confers the highest knowledge. True knowledge is derived from a pure inner consciousness, antakarana. This year, 1998, is dedicated to peace. How is this peace to be achieved? The first requisite is purification of one's vision. The second requisite is the cultivation of sacred feelings within, which will be conducive to purity in speech. Harmony will promote a climate of peace. The well-being of society is bound up with the transformation of the individuals composing it. Righteous individuals alone can build a righteous community. A pure mind is essential for pure thoughts, pure vision, and pure speech. The country today has plenty of persons who talk a great deal and display book knowledge, but do not practice even a fraction of what they have read or speak about. It is such people who are responsible for the lamentable plight of the nation. 5th February 1998. Watch whether you are speaking good or bad. Watch whether you abuse others or appreciate them. You should not use your tongue to abuse others. Abusing others is a sin. Do not let your tongue indulge in such sins. You cannot escape the consequences of your sinful acts. Everything has reaction, reflection, and resound, and it comes back to you in some form or the other. Hence, exercise control over the tongue. Buddha observed maunam and became quiet. Every sacred act has manifold rewards. By being quiet, Buddha began to experience Soham within him. You may chant the names of Rama, Krishna, Govinda, Buddha, and Sai to steady your mind. Once the mind becomes steady, you do not need to chant. Observe total silence. That is why it is said silence is golden. Once words become less, activities and vagaries of the mind also become less. As words increase, the vagaries of the mind also increase. Annihilate the mind by quietude. However, it is easier said than done. Man may die, but the mind will not die. The mind vanishes when words vanish from it. Observing Maunam silence is one of the ways of silencing the mind. That is why our ancients practiced Maunam. We should not allow the mind to go wherever it likes and do whatever it likes. We should not allow the mind to ridicule, hurt, and hate others. If you hurt anybody, you will be hurt 10 times more. You may take pride that you have abused somebody, but there will come somebody who will abuse you also someday. The sin you commit today will bring retribution to you later, amplified manifold. The joy you get by singing bhajans and by performing worship is temporary, but you will get eternal joy by experiencing the Soham Mantra. Soham is also known as Hamsa Gayatri. So means that, God. Ham means I am. I am that is the meaning of Soham. You should experience it with every breath. When you breathe in, you listen to the sound So, and while exhaling, you hear the sound Hum. Watch your breath carefully and experience the reality of Soham with every breath. 26 May 2002. You stop here.
Yeah. It's almost time up. So here, summarizing main points, as we said, Lord Buddha, it's even for us, all of us, Swami says, when you're born, scream, Koham, Koham, like as a baby you cry, there is Koham, who am I? By the time you die, if you live with a life in spiritual life, you should like Soham. So I am that, I am the Supreme, I am the Lord, I am God. So from Koham, the whole travel of life, from is Koham to Soham. So first, who am I? Koham, who am I? The baby as you cry, and you end up with the Soham. For that, what is important, Swami says, power of speech. So best is, somebody was showing that nowadays with the COVID, people wear one mask, double mask, triple mask, so to protect others and yourself. So they said, similarly, when you talk, wear 4 masks. Somebody had a little cute video clip done. First mask is it necessary to speak? If it is not necessary to speak, don't speak. As I said, Maunam, silence is golden. Speech is silver, silence is golden. So Maunam is the best. Quiet, because when you speak, we spend so much energy. First mask or first filter is it necessary to speak? If it is necessary to speak, is it truthful? Because truth is important. Once you speak truth, your words get so much power. Actually, Swami Brahmananda, the direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, said, if you practice complete truth for just 12 years, your power, whatever you say, it will happen. Your words will get so much power. Actually, I am reminded just recently, I heard a beautiful story of Swami, this devotee called Indreshwar. He used to be attendant of Swami in the long time ago, around 40, 50 years ago, along with another one. So this one of these attendants, the other boy, he had a bad habit of smoking. Swami told him, don't smoke. He said, okay, Swami. Again, he has so much weakness, he goes. So he slowly sneaked out, went behind the mountains, hillocks there in the Puttaparthi. Those days, there were not all these buildings. And then he smoked, and he thought, my God, he was happy, came back. Swami asked, where did you go? I just went for a walk, Swami. So what did you do? I just went, just relaxed, and came back. He doesn't tell the truth. Again, Swami asked, what did you do? He said, no. So did you do anything? No. Then Swami said, look here, Swami, those, in the past we heard about Polaroid for a photograph, but that time, no, just Swami put like that. Those days, no videos also. And then he saw this man putting one foot over the other, smoking, and have the cigarette. This guy got collapsed. He was crying, Swami, he held head, Swami, I will never do that. And he gave up smoking. Then Swami asked him, why do you have to quit smoking? Tell me why smoking is bad. He said, because it causes lung cancer. Swami said, no, for me also it was an eye opener. Because when you smoke, Swami said, it damages your tongue, birds, taste buds and things. Tongue is very important for speech, because I thought the highest, most important is the eyes. Sarvanganam nayanam pradhanam, they say. But no, Swami says tongue, because dual function, eating and speaking. And here he says, because it damages, it makes you speak untruth. When you speak untruth, the whole thing collapses. So speaking truth, you get so much power. So Swami is emphasizing about the truth. So first filter is whether it's necessary. Second is whether it is truthful. Third is whether it is sweet and soft. Some people, when they talk so loud. You're talking to one person, the next whole street will listen. Talk softly and sweetly. And fourth thing is, whatever I'm saying, is it going to help that other person? You should think, then only speak. So this is a very important thing, because with speech, we can uplift somebody, we can make them cheerful, happy, enthusiastic. In the same speech, you can bring down. There is a famous thing in Mahabharata called Shalya Sarathyam. There is a guy called Shalya, who was the charioteer of Karna. He talks so much negative. Karna is such a great hero. He got discouraged and loses. So with your words, you can encourage and enthuse people. With your words, you can make people depressed and discouraged. So try to use these words for enthusing people. And more importantly, as Swami said, use to chant the name, Govinda, Krishna, Rama, chanting his name, singing his glories, talking about that. Okay.